All right, ladies and gentlemen, Erev Tov, we'd like to get going. We welcome all of you and thank you for participating in this very, very special presentation to commemorate Yom Hashoah. I would like to share just a few facts that I was asked to read, and rightfully so, about the UJA Federation and self-help. We're so glad that you're here with us to experience a very special performance this evening that will stay with you for a very long time to come. Witness Theater is made possible through a unique partnership between Self-Help Community Services and the UJA Federation of New York, with support from the Jewish Communal Fund and Claims Conference. This year, Witness Theater is taking place at 4 sites throughout the New York area. Performances will be seen by more than 5,200 audience members and many more people via live stream. Tonight we are privileged to experience our school's performance. Shiva Flapish is proud to serve as the program host for this site of Witness Theater, which brings together 16 of our students, senior students, with 7 incredible Holocaust survivors who now have become family at this yeshiva, served by self-help. Their diverse experiences during the war and their lives today will be shared on stage tonight. Turn the page. In 2004, UJA Federation created the Community Initiative for Holocaust Survivors, known as CIHS, to raise funds to provide survivors with compassionate care to address their unique needs. A significant portion of this funding is granted to Self-Help Community Services. Self-Help's unparalleled compassionate professionals often serve as survivors' last living relatives. By offering specialized culturally sensitive care throughout the New York area, Self-Help ensures that survivors can live out their years with meaning, dignity, and the warm embrace of community. By you being here this evening and participating, you are now part of that community. And I encourage you to speak with the UJA Federation and Self-Help staff or lay leaders who are here with us this evening to find out about the many different ways that you can continue to be involved. Because caring for survivors is not just the work of one day a year, it's something that we must do every day until the very last survivor turns to us for help. In addition to our very special performance this evening, we urge you to visit first the Bet Midrash, that is the room right across, for a very special exhibit. 1 month ago, our students had a beautiful exhibit in the Museum of Jewish Heritage on resistance in Jewish history. The exhibit was the brainchild of one of our faculty members, Ms. Michal Shulman. She worked along with other faculty members, Mr. Ravetsky, Ms. Carolina Cohen, and Ms. Sanders. Our students involved in the project will be there to present their work. I urge you to visit it. In addition, a second exhibit, as on the walls as you come in, is a photography project worked on the entire year by one of our seniors, Ida Hasson. Please take the time out to visit, to look, and to respond. Our program this evening is going to start, of course, with the reading from Yecheskel by our head of school, Rabbi Raymond Harari.
הייתה עליי יד אדוני ויוציאני ברוח אדוני ויניחני בתוך הבקעה והיא מלאה עצמות והעבירני עליהם סביב סביב והנה רבות מאוד על פני הבקעה והנה יבשות מאוד ויאמר אלי הנבא אל הרוח הנבא בן אדם ואמרת אל הרוח כה אמר אדוני אלוהים מארבע רוחות בואי הרוח ובכי בהרוגים האלה ויחיו והנבאתי כאשר ציווני ותבוא בהם הרוח ויחיו ויעמדו על רגליהם חיל גדול מאוד מאוד ויאמר אלי בן אדם העצמות האלה כל בית ישראל המה הנה אומרים יבשו עצמותינו ואבדת קברתנו נגזרנו לנו לכן, הנבא ואמרת עליהם, כה אמר אדוני אלוהים, הנה אני פותח את קברותיכם, והעליתי אתכם מקברותיכם, עמי, והבאתי אתכם אל אדמת ישראל. וידעתם כי אני אדוני, בפתחי את קברותיכם, ובהעלותי אתכם קברותיכם, עמי. ונתתי רוחי בכם, וחייתם, והנחתי אתכם על אדמתכם, וידעתם כי אני אדוני, דיברתי ועשיתי, נאום אדוני.
One cannot really describe this beautiful impact and effect this program has had on our yeshiva. Our Witness Theater participants are now real family. I would like just to point out that we have invited some of our Witness Theater participants to our seminars, and they've impacted with all of our students. And you can read all about who they are in the very important pamphlet that I urge you to take. We're also proud of our seniors who have done an outstanding job this year in making them feel at home and are participating this evening. And they are role models for all of our students, and we're proud, and you can read about them too. But the one person that I'm going to just point out is an alumna of this yeshiva who was outstanding in her years here and continues to be outstanding and make us proud. And that is the person who's really responsible for the entire program, the entire year and tonight. And that is Sally Grazi-Shapsky. Not only is she talented, passionate, and just a beautiful person, but she also marries well. So we get Danny, who comes along, and that's very excellent for us. And not only does she marry well, but she somehow gets great parents. And we want to thank Leslie for being part of our program. Thank you. So I'm going to ask Sally to share with you some very important deep thoughts about this evening's performance. Sally.
Everybody kept saying, break a leg. Before Witness Theater, we wondered, what is a survivor? What is a survivor? We had many ideas, many speculations, and above all, many concerns. Would we be able to understand the survivors? Relate to them? Help them in any way? We anticipated who might walk into the room the following week, and we imagined the elderly survivors, perhaps forlorn and anxious to speak of their trauma. But as we held the door open that first Wednesday in September and raised our eyes to welcome the newcomers into our school, in walked a composer, lyrics in hand and music in his step, an artist with a newly crafted art piece cradled in her palms, an author, book in her hand and with the stride of a confident lecturer, a fashionista with her hair coiffed to perfection and an iron locket brandished over her heart like a shield, a woman with a sense of humor that announced itself before we even knew her name, a teacher, a chazan, a grandmother, an interior designer. Suddenly, our concept of survivor had changed dramatically. And we began to learn that there is so much more to a survivor than survival. Week after week, we continue to ask, who are you? In our quest to discover the many roles of our newfound friends. And quite soon it became clear that these survivors were not defined by their struggles, but rather by their strengths. And that the strengths which kept them alive during the war, had blossomed into strength that enabled them to live and thrive and create, and to land them back in high school in their 80s and 90s. As the days became shorter and the weather turned colder, our relationships grew stronger. And the questions, who are you? And who am I? Became the hallmarks of our journey. Fascinatingly, we discovered that we shared many strengths in common, despite the large age gap and the very different times in which we live. It would take us weeks to share all of the strengths that we have discovered among these humble heroes in the last 8 months. So for our audiences, we have chosen one strength that has been particularly inspiring, and we will trace that strength from the time of the Holocaust to the present day. To that end, we, the survivors, the students, and the staff, most of whom had never been on stage before tonight, have collaborated to incorporate original musical themes, student poetry, musical composition, and the scenes and dialogue that illustrate these strengths, as well as the beautiful relationships that have served as the backdrop for our exploration and self-discovery. It is all original. It is all real. And it is all very genuine. We are so proud to share with you our journey from strength to strength.
Before Witness Theater, we wonder,
What is a survivor?
what is a survivor? A survivor is a much older person. I wonder if we'll be able to relate to each other.
A survivor is a person with an accent.
What if we don't understand each other?
A survivor is someone who lived through the war.
I am afraid to hear all the stories.
A survivor is often sad. How can I console someone who lived through such horrors?
A survivor is a person who suffered great loss. How will I understand when I have never lost anyone?
A survivor is someone mysterious. I have never met a survivor.
A survivor is going to be here, in this room, at this time next week. I'm so nervous.
This is Ruth Brunner. Ruth is a survivor
Ruth is also a chess player.
and a docent at the Museum of Jewish Heritage.
And also an author.
Ruth is a real estate broker and an ice cream lover, a piano player,
An interior designer.
Ruth is a reader,
a believer, and a professional clown,
a music teacher,
a public speaker, a grandmother.
And an accordion player.
Yes, I am all of these things. And lately, I'm also a dreamer. Since I lost my husband Jack just a year ago, I've had a number of significant dreams which make me certain that there are people watching over me. I suppose I have always been a bit of a dreamer. Even as a young child in revolved Poland, I would sit by the window in my parents' candy shop, eating ice cream and daydreaming.
What can I get for you today? Mother, can I get one of each?
I'm sorry, honey. I only have 2 groszy. Just pick one thing.
Okay, I'll have that one. Just a moment, I'll wrap it up for you.
Come, darling, there's Lucha. And what sweet dreams are you having today, Lucha?
Oh, Mrs. Shiku, Marisha, I didn't even realize you were here.
That's okay, Lucha. You were too busy with your ice cream.
Here you go, Miss Shiku.
But Miss Gamzer, this feels heavier than one piece of candy. Really, Miss Gamzer, you shouldn't have.
Now, let's not spend too much time indoors when it's such a lovely summer day out. Go on, get along.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Gamzer. Lucha, you are a lucky little girl to have such a mama as you do.
Yes, my life was dreamy back then, full of music and beautiful dolls. And my parents were the warmest and kindest people you could ever know. But soon after I turned 5, those careful daydreams turned into nightmares. And I started to dream of a time when life would just be normal again.
Lucha, it's an oxygen for children. We're to take his bread and water and crawl to the bathroom. Go!
Fear, fear, what did I do to deserve this? Fear, fear, I don't want to die. I'm scared. Fear, I can't breathe. Fear, am I going to live? I can't breathe. They're coming. I don't want to die. I'm scared. I'm scared. Fear, fear, fear. They are here. My heart is in my throat. I am paralyzed with fear. I feel as though I will choke. I am hardly breathing.
It was a miracle that they never found me, not during any of the actions. And another miracle when my father met Mrs. Strigio one day outside the ghetto, and she offered to hide me in her home. He smuggles me out of the ghetto under his coat.
Where it is safest, but also so lonely. I am dreaming of fairy tales where magical things happen, and everyone is always happy in the end. I am dreaming of the outdoors, the sun, the grass, and I am dreaming of my parents, wherever they may be. Please, God, help me.
After 8 months in that corner and another 3 weeks hiding in an old wooden trunk, I could no longer walk or speak. I was so stiff and had gotten used to being silent. So when Mrs. Chigu decided to move me to the house where my parents were hidden, I first had to learn how to walk and talk again. When she was sure I looked and sounded normal enough that no one would stare at me, we began the journey.
Mamusha, Tatu! Oh, the world is so beautiful. I would so much like to live.
It was barely a few hours that I was outdoors, and then I had to be inside again. But I dreamed of the brilliant sunshine every morning while I stayed hidden with Mr. and Mrs. Oya, who had been the bakers in our candy shop.
In my dreams, I am with my dolls again. The dolls were my playmates before the war. The dolls who were my true friends. In my dreams, they are with me. But my dreams always seem to end so abruptly. Tatu!
What is it, Lucha? Are you having a bad dream again?
Tatu, I don't want to die.
My darling, don't be scared. When you go to heaven, you have dolls that walk and talk. It will be wonderful.
Really, Tatu? Well then, I am not scared to go to heaven. I am dreaming of all those dolls I will play with.
Day in and day out, we lived in fear, and I dreamed about having my freedom back. For 2.5 years, the Oyaks risked their lives to hide us in their home. We survived because of the kindness of those human beings, and I am forever indebted to them.
Your parents continued to be role models of kindness wherever they went. In their life in Poland after the war, and in the life they built for themselves in America, where they opened up a candy shop called Barbara's Chocolates on Avenue U, and where you were able to dream again.
Today, you dream of a world where all people, no matter their race or religion, are kind. A world where respect for our fellow humans is paramount.
You know, Aida and Rachel, I know how kindness goes. I learned it from my parents and from so many people during the awful years of the war. And this is what I teach to all the students I speak to each year. My husband Jack, who was also a survivor, and I lived a life of kindness and tolerance. And this is what we taught our children. Even though he is not with me on this earth anymore, I can still feel him beside me, holding my hand and encourage me to dream.
This is Veera Lapina. Veera is a survivor.
Veera is also a seamstress.
And also a chef.
Veera is a mother.
And a cancer survivor.
And also an artist.
A proud grandmother.
An economist.
Veera is a reader.
A baker.
An encyclopedia.
A grandmother.
An accountant.
A creative person.
An engineer.
And an intellectual.
Yes,
I am all of these things, and I am also what my husband used to call me, a person with two right hands. I can do everything. I am good at craft. I can sew my own clothes. I taught myself how to read and write in 4 languages, and I am a really good cook. I am educated and a professional, and I did it all by myself, with my 2 right hands, by myself.
By myself. I did it all by myself. Not because I wanted to, of course, but because I had to. It was the only way I could survive.
Verusa, where have you been? Come help me roll the fish. We need to make enough food to feed Cousin Leaf's whole wedding.
Я еще не закончила, мамуша, but I'm not finished reading yet, mамуша. I have only 2 chapters left. Can I please just finish this?
This was Kiev in 1937. I was only 3.5 at that time, but I was very smart. I was already reading big chapter books and writing poems.
Now, what were the words to that song again? I just can't put my finger on it.
И была у меня кошка, ну и настоящая матрешка. И почему она сбежала? Ведь я ее не обижала. На все 4 лапочки, а ей пошила тапочки.
Verusa, how did you remember that? My Verusa, my smart girl.
I remembered everything I ever heard or saw. I drank knowledge like it was water, and I was always thirsty for it. We lived in poverty, but I had my parents, and I was happy until Kiev was bombed in 1941, and my father sent my mom and me away to find safety.
Verusa, come!
Where are we going, Mom?
Stay close, Verusa!
I know we're supposed to be running away from the bad people, but they seem to have followed us. Their bombs dropped right onto our train cars, and now everyone is running. I see people falling all around me, and I hear shooting. I don't understand. Why do they want to hurt me?
They protected me the whole 3-week journey to safety. But once we were settled in a tiny apartment there, she told me something that was more frightening than anything I had been told yet.
Verusa, I have to go to work. The only way for us to stay here in Saratov, where we're safe from the Nazis, is for me to work to support us. And the work is so far away from here. I'll only be able to come home to see you on Sundays, Verusa. I'm so sorry. This is not what I wanted for my precious daughter.
By myself. On my own, by myself. I am 7 years old, and I'm alone. Well, almost alone. It's a good thing I have you. My little cat. My Koshka. Without you, I don't know who I would talk to. Come, see what I've set up for myself here. I sleep right here, hugging you to keep warm.
I lived alone like that for 2 years. Just me and that cat. My mom would come just for a few hours on Sundays to make sure that I was still there and still alive.
Here, my Koshka. I know you are hungry too. Hardly anything fell from the passing trains today. All I found were these pellets that are supposed to be for farm animals, but I'm sorry, my Koshka. It's all I have. Go on, eat it. I'll eat some too.
I learned to cook something from nothing, and I learned to sew my clothes from nothing. And I read whatever newspapers I could find when I was out searching for food. Sometimes I was lucky.
Look, Koshka, I found some matches. That means I can cook today. I miss when my mama would make the most delicious gefilte fish and bake the sweetest babka. If I think really hard about it, I can still smell them. Come, Koshka, tonight we dine on a hot meal to celebrate my 9th birthday.
In 1943, we returned to Kiev, and it was completely destroyed. My father had been killed by the Nazis, and we had lost everything. No clothes, no food, no school. But my mother had a job, and she came home to me every single night. To me, that was paradise.
Veera was always very smart, but she was also a really hard worker. At 10 years old, she was volunteering in a military infirmary, babysitting for neighbors, and when the library finally reopened, she started working there. It was her favorite place in life.
I had a hard life understudying, and we fought for our lives every day. But in 1954, I met a military doctor, and we fell in love. First day, he looked at me, I looked at him, and that was it. We made a beautiful life together, even though it was not an easy one.
Your husband Will passed away in 1990, but you brought his love and legacy with you in 1991 when you and your daughter moved to America.
I got a job only I got a job only 3 days after moving here. I learned the language on my own and made a life for myself and my family. My degree from Russia says I am an engineer economist. My grandson tells me I cannot really be both. But I tell him, like I told Jessica and Kemi, I have 2 right hands. Engineering, economy, accounting, math, reading, writing, cooking, sewing. Because of my hardship, I learned that I can do anything as long as I believe in myself.
This is Harry Baylor. Harry is a survivor.
Harry is also a producer.
And a cook.
And also a devoted husband.
Harry is a father.
And a shul member.
And also a musician.
A cancer survivor.
A gardener. Harry is an author. A tea drinker.
Harry is a grandfather.
A businessman.
The president of the Chana Center Society.
A director.
And a playwright.
Yes, I'm all these things, and I'm also a composer. I love putting different instruments together with different melodies and harmonies and voices.
Listen, Harry.
Listen, Harry.
Listen, Harry.
Listen, Harry.
I love to listen to all the sounds of my life, voices of my grandchildren, the soft footsteps of my wife Rosalyn, and the opera music that I have composed. Thinking back, the sounds of my youth were generally harmonious.
Listen, Harry, to the sounds of childhood.
Water pouring.
Lots of baking.
Laughter.
And you should have seen his face when she walked out that door. Like he was eating a lemon.
Fine label. I need another scoop of flour, please.
Coming, Mama.
And Dina, keep kneading that dough. It needs to be smoother.
Okay, Mama.
Have you finished your cleaning yet, Ancha?
I kashed the kitchen, but I still have to launder the drapes. Chaim label, some more flour, please.
I still have to toivel my dishes. Masha, can you pass me the water, please? Here, Mama.
Oy vey, Pesach is so much work. Chaim label.
Yes, but I'll take Pesach over Mr. Goldblatt's service any day.
I got paid for that job pouring the flour. We were poor, but we had a good life in our Polish shtetl called Rifka. Home, school, cheder, lots of friends, and a family business in tailoring. And the war began in 1939. The Russians took over Rifka, and for the next 2 years, we lived a liberated and cultured life under the Soviet communists. But in 1941, the sounds of my life became dark and distant.
Listen, Harry, to the sounds of life changing.
Boots marching.
Officers knocking.
Parents crying.
It is only going to get worse. We need to leave.
I can't leave. Dina's still too weak. She still hasn't recovered from the beating they gave her. She still can't speak. And she still doesn't remember who we all are. You go. At least you can try to find safety in the neighboring villages.
It is not easy to leave you and the children, but I know it is what I have to do. I will take the back road so that I am not caught in the streets. I will go with you, Taka. No, Chaim Label. It's too dangerous. You stay here with Mama.
I went anyway. I followed my dad through the forest and only revealed myself when I knew it was too late for him to turn me back. We went from village to village, from farm to farm, offering our tailoring services and staying wherever they would take us in. During that time, I learned vital survival skills, the most important of which was how to decipher the sounds of danger.
Listen, Harry, to the sounds of loss.
Feet running.
Voices shouting.
Gunshots.
My beloved community massacred in a mass grave, and my mother and sister with them all. My father and my brother Moshe Mordechai and I fled into the woods.
Listen, Harry, to the sounds of the forest.
Howling wolves.
freezing winds.
Stomachs growling.
We slept in the bunker a few days, but my brother got sick, and we had no choice but to go into the nearest village to look for food.
Please, just give us a piece of bread. That's all we're asking for.
Why did you come here again? The people know you were in the village. You can get my whole family killed.
Dogs barking.
Villagers yelling.
Seething hatred.
By a label, run!
Men attacking.
Father screaming.
Silence.
I was able to keep on going.
Tata.
But I did. I went from forest to bunker, to farm, to ditch, to anywhere I could find a moment of shelter. Eventually, I headed for the bunker where I knew my sister Masha was hiding.
Listen, Harry, to the sounds of hiding.
Shallow breathing.
Lice crawling.
Silent crying.
Masha, my legs have gone numb again. I need to move.
Okay, let's turn to the other side.
How much longer, Masha? Who will come first? Death from hunger? Or death from cold? Or maybe we would be lucky enough to be killed first.
Don't talk like that, Chaim Mabel. You cannot give up. We need you. You may be the youngest here, but you are the best listener. You know how to listen out for animals that we can grab to eat and for the sounds of danger in the forest. We need you to stay alive and listen.
We lived in that tiny, filthy, freezing bunker for 2 years. I look back now, and I have no idea how I survived. We lost everyone, our parents, our 3 siblings, and our entire community. But after all the awful sounds of war and survival, I began to pick up the pieces of my life and compose the sounds of my future.
Listen, Harry, to the sounds that you have created and the music you composed. Listen, Harry, with pride.
Now, I'm proud to introduce to you my wife, Rosalyn. Come on up.
This is Rosalyn Baylor. Rosalyn is a survivor. Rosalyn is also a dancer.
And a devoted wife.
And also a French woman.
Rosalyn is a mother.
And a bad driver.
A cook.
An educator.
A singer.
A cancer survivor.
A Zionist.
A mother.
And a good friend.
A bicyclist.
A kibbutznik.
And a people person.
Yes, I am all these things, quite Harry, and I am also an optimist. I love people. I love my husband. I love these kids. And I love being in witness theater. The funny thing is that I was born right here in Brooklyn. We lived in Borough Park with my grandparents until I was a 1-year-old.
I was an American citizen, the only one in my family, but my loyalty was always to France. I loved Paris. I loved the lights, the energy, the people.
Life was pretty normal in Paris back then. My parents had 4 more children, which made me the third of 7, and we lived in a small apartment in the Jewish neighborhood. I remember being very close with my older brother, Ellie.
Ellie, please take me to the park. S'il vous plaît.
I'm busy today, Rosalie. Can't you see?
Are you going out with your friends again?
Listen, Rosa. I'm involved in some really important things. I'm going to fight the enemies of France. I'm going to be a hero for our country.
Can I come?
No, Rosalie, you're too young and you're a girl. This business is for men only.
He was just 15 at that time, but he was very macho and a real ladies' man too. I loved him to death. At that time, Ellie was preparing to join the Maquis, which was the French resistance. But then my mother died of cancer and my father died a year later of a broken heart. And the 7 of us kids were left orphaned in war-torn Paris. And it was 1941.
This is not the Paris I know. This is not the life I know. My parents are gone, and the police are rounding up all the Jews in our area. I'm just 11 years old, but I'm old enough to know that things aren't safe anymore. What will become of us children?
We were taken into a convent and then separated to different Catholic families. I missed my sibling terribly, but I tried to focus on happy things. I became a good Catholic girl. I had to believe that this was a good life for me. Like I said, I was an optimist.
It is the day of my communion. I am 12 years old, and I'm so excited for the day ahead. The life I once knew seems so far away, but I can't let myself think of that. I'm determined to make the most of whatever situation I'm in. Sam! Dora! Play Magnifique! I'm so glad you're in town today. I'm on my way to church for my communion.
You look so beautiful, Rosalie. But we miss you.
I miss you too. I miss the days when we were all together with Mama and Papa.
I hope this war is over soon, so we can all be together again.
It will be, Sam. It will be. And we will all be together again, like old times. You'll see. Je t'aime, my brother and sister.
We spent 3 years apart, but miraculously we all survived, even Ellie. And after the war, our Aunt Sarah came to pick us up and helped us make our passage to America. because I was an American citizen. My siblings were allowed into the country on my passport.
In 1957, you spent 6 months on a kibbutz. You were always a Zionist at heart.
It was part of my optimistic attitude. I believed strongly that Israel was destined to grow and thrive, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Back in New York, you met and married Harry in 1958, and you had 3 children. Harry worked as a businessman and you as a computer operator.
Harry composed and directed, and you remained a positive and encouraging force in your marriage. Today, you have great joy from your 4 grandchildren.
Being in witness theater makes us both so happy. To see these kids smiling each week reminds us of all the wonderful things that this life has to offer. My husband too. Love.
Despite both of our difficult pasts, and even the challenges we have faced since then, being with these kids for the last 8 months has helped Roz and me to see our own future with a renewed sense of creativity, hope, and optimism.
Is a survivor. Riva is also a fashionista
And a secretary.
And also a grandmother.
Riva is a comedian
and a mahjong player and also a sister.
A moviegoer.
Riva is a babysitter.
A social butterfly.
an entertainer,
A shul goer.
A wine drinker. A paper plane.
A mother.
a sightseer,
And a great friend.
Yes, I'm all these things, and I'm also a dancer. I love to dance. It makes me feel young and free to let the music move me here and there. But when I was a child in Evia, Poland, moving from place to place was not an act of leisure and freedom. It meant life on the run, and it was the difference between life and death.
Line up! Everybody, let's go, let's go! Put your belongings down! Put your things down, let's go! Line up!
Left,
Right,
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 left,
left,
right,
left,
left,
right.
right.
My mother was on that line holding my hand. I was just 3 years old. They selected her to die, but my mother was a courageous woman.
Let's run away. Better to be struck down on the road than to go to the graves. Don't you hear me? Are you too frozen with fear? Rifka, if no one will run with us, we will run together. Run! Rifka, we will stay here, underneath this bed.
Run!
Rifka, we will stay here, in this outhouse.
Run!
Rifka, we will stay here, in this stable.
Run!
Rifka, we will stay here, in this ghetto.
Life in the ghetto resumed, although 3,000 Jews had been slaughtered since the day they rounded up for selection. My mother knew it was only a matter of time before we would meet the same fate.
Run!
Rifka, you are going to stay here with this Christian farmer.
I hate it here. This man is mean and he drinks too much. I'm going to cry until my mother comes back. I won't stop crying.
Run!
Rifka, we are going to stay here in the woods.
Why are all those people getting into those wagons? Why is everyone crying?
Shh, shh. We have to stay quiet.
Run!
Mama, I can't walk through all this snow anymore. Please, let's go back to the Germans. Let them shoot us and put an end to our troubles.
My mother emptied her sack, which was full of the only belongings we had, and she put me on her back. I was frozen and half dead.
Rifka, we are going to stay here in this farmhouse.
Run!
No, I don't want to leave this warm house.
I'm sorry, Rifka, but we have to go. Come. Rifka, we are going to stay here in this forest, but you can't stop moving your hands and your feet. If you do, they will freeze.
Run!
Rifka, we are going to stay here in this little house with this kind Christian woman named Ekaterina.
We lived behind a wall in the attic. There was one board that opened up, and that was how we were given food. Ekaterina Mikhailovich and her husband risked their lives to keep us alive like that for a year and a half.
Run!
Shh, Rifka, wake up. It's okay. You're just dreaming. We don't have to run anymore.
Mama, when will we be able to go outside? I want to be able to stretch my legs out and breathe the outside air and feel the ground beneath my feet. I want to run.
When the students first asked me to tell them about my childhood, I said, I didn't have a childhood, but I did, just that it was not a usual childhood.
Your childhood was fraught with fear and starvation and so much running, but your mother was with you through it all. She was the leader of your steps, your partner in the horrible dance that was your life in hiding.
You and your mother were among the few Jews from Evia who survived. Thousands of others, including your father, were murdered by the Nazis. Right after the war, you returned to your hometown, where your mother married her dear friend, who was also a survivor from Evia. Your father and mother raised you to be the wonderful person that you are today.
You moved to a displaced persons camp, where your sister Gail was born. And then you all immigrated together to America, where your sister Zelda was born.
We kept on moving. We moved cities, houses, schools. But my mother was my steadfast companion through it all. She was as courageous as she was kind. She was my best friend. She always said she was so happy that she saved me. But you know Sylvia and Amanda, now that I'm a mother of 2 sons and a grandmother of 4 grandchildren, I think I can say that my mother and I saved each other. In the dance of life, it's the people we love who keep our music playing.
This is Yevgeny Galford. Yevgeny is a survivor.
Yevgeny is also a historian.
And a philosopher.
And also an educator.
Yevgeny is a poet.
And a scholar.
And also a chazan.
A father.
An occasional vodka drinker.
Yevgeny is a grandfather.
A good cook.
A proud Jew.
And a philanthropist.
A charmer.
A shul goer.
And a helper.
Yes, I am all these things, and I am also most importantly a family man. A family was to me always the most important thing to me. Back in Munkaj we had a poor life, but it was a good life because I had my family, 2 parents, 2 brothers, 2 sisters. My family was strong, and my parents worked hard. I helped them in the store when I was 14 years old, because the school would take Jews anymore. But in 1943, they closed all the Jews' business, and we had to wear the yellow star. On April 18, 1944, my life changed forever.
Come, Kindela, have something to eat before we have to get to the store.
You have 2 hours to pack your things and leave. You are to relocate to the Jewish ghetto.
Why, Mommy? We don't have time to ask questions. Everyone pack 1 small bag, some clothing and some bread. We have to move quickly. Come, Kindela.
2 hours later, the officers returned and they moved us by wagon to huge brick factory with 2,000 other people from Munkach. This was April 1944. We were there 4 weeks, but at last my family was together.
Attention! You are to relocate to Auschwitz. Everyone, onto the train!
Tati. Tati. Auschwitz.
Loud! Everyone out! Everyone out! Line up! Line up! Right!
Tati.
Left! Right! Left! Right!
Mommy! Come over
Right.
keep moving! How can he separate our family? Just like that.
They pushed us towards the camp, further and further away from my family.
Excuse me, sir. When will I see my family? My mother and 4 siblings are back there. When can I see them? On Sunday. Every Sunday you will all see your families.
They took our clothes and our things and they made us take a small shower. And then they gave us a prison clothes, white with blue stripes. And I put us into barracks. After an hour I asked again.
Excuse me, sir. When will I see my family? See that chimney over there? Look up there in an hour. You will see your families there. I feel as though I am in a daze. Hardly breathing. Hardly real. What does this mean? My family? In the chimney? It cannot be. It cannot be.
Here are your labels. One for the jacket, one for the hat, one for the pants. From now on, you will be known by that number only. No name, just number.
I am number 806348. I am no longer Dove Galbert. Being taken from my family is tragic enough, but to be stripped of my name, it is as if that had erased my family's existence completely.
After Auschwitz, they took us to work in a concentration camp, Wistigesdorf, and then to Ebensee. Everywhere we went to work, we starved, we were beaten, so many people were killed, but I had my father with me, the only person from my family.
They say the Russians are not too far. The war could be ending soon.
Soon? Can't come soon enough. I'm so tired, Dove. I don't know how much more I can take.
Don't say that, Tati. I need you. You're the only family I have.
What is all this talking? You are not here to talk. You are here to work.
No!
My father was killed just 2 weeks before liberation. And then I was really, really alone. If someone would have told me then when I was 17 years old and weighed 64 pounds and had lost my entire family that one day I would be a husband, a father, a grandfather, and a great-grandfather. I don't think I would have believed it then.
But that is what you are today. A real family man. It was not easy by any means. After the war, you suffered a lot, but you were able to find some friends to live with. And that was when you met your wife, Celie.
You and Celie had nothing. Just one plate for two people. But you were happy because you were a family. And every day you grew closer to building your future.
You worked for 30 years as the vice president of Munkaj College, and in 1979, you immigrated to America. Life was still not easy. You had a daughter and two sons, and your family was growing.
Family is everything to me. And Celie was everything to me. I never told her no. How could I say no to the woman who gave me a family? We were married 67 years, and today I know she watched over us, making sure that we will never forget where we came from and what it took for us to be together today as a family.
Mira is a survivor.
Mira is also multilingual.
And a motivational speaker.
And also a frum Jew.
Mira is a loving mother.
And an ice skater.
And also a hard worker.
A baker.
A cancer survivor.
Mira is a crier.
An organized person.
A grandmother.
A fashionista.
A seamstress.
A strong person.
And a believer.
Yes, I am all those things. Yes, I am all these things, and I am also a fighter. When I was growing up in Sosnowiec in Poland, I had a lot of friends, a beautiful religious family, and a comfortable apartment with a garden where I loved to play ball. And even from a young age, I always fought for what was right.
I got it. Nice catch, Mira.
Let us out! Let us out!
Who's in the shed?
Just a couple of Polish boys. They're being ashamed just because she's Jewish. So I locked them in the shed.
Let us out!
Let us out! Sure, boys. I'll let you out. Never. Come on, Seth. Let's finish our game. Catch.
Before the war, it was easy to fight back. But in 1939, all of a sudden, the enemies became much more dangerous. One day, the Germans rounded up all the men and boys and took them away. My father, my brothers were all with them. It was a terrible, but I had to do something. I decided to risk my life and to go look for them.
Daddy? Daddy, where are you?
Mira!
Who's there?
Mira!
They locked us in the garage.
They locked us all in here.
Mira, there's hundreds of us here.
Mira, your father and brothers are here too.
Mira, you have to go to the Gemeinde and tell them where we are.
You have to get us out of here sooner or all be killed.
Mira, help us, Mira.
I ran to report what I saw in the Jewish committee, and eventually they were rescued. I always risked my life to save whatever I could. In 1940, I went to work in a factory ironing shirts from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then after my shift,
I would go to find things to sell on the black market. I refused to let the German steal my life or my spirit. But in 1942, when all 30,000 Jews were forced into a stadium, and I knew this was the end, and still I knew I had to do something.
Mommy? Daddy? Mommy! Mira! How did you get out? How did you find us? I convinced the officer to let me go, but only for a short time. Mommy, please, send the kids with me. You will have a better chance if they are not with you, and they will have a better chance if they are with me. Mommy, you have to make a decision now. Please, send them with me.
Okay, take them. But wherever you go, make sure they stay with you.
I love you, Mommy. Stay strong.
I love you, Mira.
I ran with my siblings to the stadium, back to my group. I was hoping it was right to take them with me. Then that night, they marched us to the town, and we passed our apartment, and I made a quick, risky decision.
Esther, I don't think that where they are taking us will be a place for children. Look, there's our garden. Go, quick, run for the fence. I'll be with you in a few minutes.
Look, officer, this girl's trying to run away.
I am not.
Let's go.
I worried to death about what happened to my siblings after I pushed them in the garden. But I finally heard from Esther that they had made it home. My parents were murdered along with tens of thousands of Jews who had been in the stadium that day, and I was transported to concentration camp Greenberg.
Dearest Esther, I hope you and the children are okay. Life in this camp is miserable. We are starved and beaten every day and still expected to work with heavy machinery bigger than our apartment building. The girls I work with can't believe how strong I still am. But I can feel my strength fading away with my fighting spirit. I've almost lost my life many times, and my thoughts are full of fear and dread. But mostly, I spend my time thinking about that day in the stadium. I wonder every day if I did the right thing. Did I save you and the children? Or did I sentence you to death? I will not stop asking myself that question until I see you. Forever your sister, Mira.
I still ask myself this question because I never saw her again. I wonder if I had taken them with me, would she have saved lives? But did my attempt be a hero, cost my siblings their life? This is a guilt I live with every single day of my life.
Even after learning that you had lost everyone, your parents, Esther, Veera, Malka, and Natan, you still did not give up. After 3 terrible years at Greenberg, the Nazis marched you on a death march as the Russians approached.
You escaped during the 10-day march and survived hidden on a farm until liberation. Although you had not been able to save your family, you soon discovered, through a series of miracles, that Henry Rosenblatt, a young man you once heroically acquired papers for, had survived. By the grace of Hashem, you were reunited, and in 1945, Henry became your husband. You lived a beautiful life together for 71 years until Henry passed away just last year.
You had so much strength between you, and together you overcame so many more obstacles. You have 3 children, and now have 8 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren, many of whom went to Yeshiva Flatbush. And they are all growing up knowing that their bubby Mira is a fighter.
I carry with me the deep burden of guilt and sadness. But when this dark feeling threatens to take over, I try to look around me, forget myself and focus on the future. Spending time with these students this year has given me a new sense of purpose and a hope for the future. And with this theater, I am reminded of my fighting spirit from long ago, and I know that as long as I live, I will continue to fight for the future for the Jewish people.
I am a person with two right hands.
A doer.
I am a composer.
A creator.
I'm an optimist.
A teacher.
A teacher. Okay. I am a fighter.
A friend.
A color.
I'm a dancer.
A believer. A thinker.
I am a family man.
From teacher to student. From war to peace.
From enslavement to freedom.
From telling to listening.
From hatred to love. From the past to the future. We live from strength to strength. בשביל כולם, עד שנשנה עולם.
Yavo